welcome to another vlog. It's me, Rory, Alec again on the Spirit, Soul, Body vlog, and great to be with you guys. Today we're going to make bread. Yep, Rory's very simple, rustic, wholesome, full of goodness bread. Made with this amazing iron corn wheat berry. And before I can make bread, before I can get in the kitchen, I've got to turn these wheat berries into good flour. So I better get cracking. No electricity, just good old human calories being burnt here. I like it. It's very simple technology. 2 granite stones, fixed granite stone at the bottom, a moving granite stone at the top, moving because I turn this handle, and the wheat berries simply fall down through the center. The grooves that are cut in the stone causes the wheat berries to gently move out as the 2 stones literally crush the berry. The critical thing about any wheat milling is you have to make sure that these 2 stones don't get too hot. The hotter these stones become, the more they destroy the good nutrients and qualities that we benefit from in our bodies from this wheat berry. So again, with a handle like this, I'm never going to turn this fast enough for these stones to get hot. So that's a good thing, right? I have 1 kilogram of wheat berries in this hopper, and that will take me probably 30 to 40 minutes to grind. It's like a labor of love in a way, because I know that my family loves this bread. There's nothing more, I don't know how to even put it in words, there's nothing more wonderful than coming down into the kitchen and smelling bread freshly baking in the oven. I mean, it's just intoxicating. And the thought that you've actually taken certified organic wheat, you've put it in your own grinder, you've ground it, you know there's no nonsense going on, and what comes out is the very flour that you will take and bake your own bread. Fantastic. Excuse the squeaking handle. I need to put a little bit of lubrication over here so that it doesn't keep squeaking like that. And I will do that. It doesn't bother me. I get the metaphor of it all, you know. As the Lord has us on our daily grind, as we're chewing on the word, as we're grinding down, every once in a while you'll get a squeak out of our humanity. It's like, ugh, give me this day, my daily bread. Sure, son, you can have your daily bread. Before you can enjoy the nourishment of good flour making good bread, you need to grind your wheat. So stop talking and grind away. I'm taking this flour into my kitchen here. A very simple recipe, mind you. Very little effort required to make the bread I'm going to show you today. And literally takes 5 minutes to mix it all together. But if you can consider a gentle grinding of the wheat berry, well, this is the most gentle of the grinders that you have out there. Beginning to come to the end of what was 1 kilogram of wheat berries is now becoming a very nice 1 kilogram of flour here in my tray. Today I won't be sieving my wheat. I will literally take it as it is and we'll make bread from it. But there are times I get my 2 sieves and then I will sieve out fine flour, and with that we make excellent scones. I know, scones and cream, right? The low amounts of gluten in this einkorn wheat means it's a little bit more tricky to bake with if you're doing fine baking that requires very thin pastries. Corolla's made some fantastic cakes with this einkorn as well. Yummy stuff. Nearly there. Crank up the music, Mr. Alec, and grind away. Let's try. We have to toil and labor. You think about it, making bread is an arduous and long work process. First, the farmer has to sow the wheat. You grow the wheat, you take time, energy, you fight the pests, you pull out the weeds where you can without damaging the wheat. And then you finally harvest it. After you harvest it, you have to beat the wheat. Think about the metaphors in all of this. To get the outer husk off, that shell that protects the wheat berry, so you separate the chaff from the wheat, get rid of the chaff, it gets burnt up, and the farmer's left with a lovely pile of wheat. Then I take that wheat berry, put it in here, and then I grind it. It takes another hour of my grinding before I can even think about approaching the kitchen, which we're about to do in a few moments, and bake the bread. And after baking that, which by the way takes a number of more hours, which you fortunately get to skip on this vlog, we get to enjoy that wonderful, delicious bread. So I don't have to tell you, there's a little bit of hard work involved, and mine's the least of it. There's always something satisfying by that final squeak of turn. That's it, it's done. And now we have all this good stuff here. Get that into the very full tray, as you can see. Anyway, let's go make bread. There we go. So, our very simple baking tray. Good old faithful red here. I've got some of my trusty olive oil. That is 3 teaspoons of dry yeast, a nice blob of honey, some Himalaya pink salt. I'm going to have 1.5 cups, maybe 2 cups of water, and I'll talk more about that as we mix in our flour into our bowl. Pretty straightforward. I have myself a very dark dishcloth, and don't mind you, it's not dirty, it's just my baking dishcloth to cover the baking tray. Once I've put the dough in here and it needs to rise, I put a nice thick dark light prevention cloth while the yeast does its work. No kneading, yay! No kneading. This is a beautiful thing. We simply are going to take this spoon and we're going to stir this mixture through, and that's the way it's going to be. First thing we do is we take our water. We've got 1 cup of water. Now, this guy, my dry yeast, is a very fussy character, okay? Water too hot, doesn't like it, can kill the yeast. Water too cold, and the yeast takes much longer to activate. And so I put in a nice cup of warm water into my mixing bowl. Water that I can easily put my finger in. It's nice, warm, cozy. And then I take my 3 teaspoons of yeast and just quickly pop that in there. And literally let that work for 5 minutes. Don't put anything else in here, just let him come alive. And this is his activation process. Now please remember, this is how I make bread, okay? I have no doubt that many of you are watching your bread making experts. This is Rory's vlog, Spirit, Soul, Body. I'm sharing with you guys, my family and friends, how I like to make my rustic bread. It's a never-ending process of learning, of course. I must say you can make far more complicated bread than I'm showing you today. The yeast is now ready. We put in the honey. And we put in the salt. As I say, I've put in about a teaspoon of salt. Some people like to put more salt in or less. I've put in a little honey as well. Not only for a touch of sweetness, but it also adds all those wonderful nutrients that are collected by the bees and turned into this delicious honey. And then we take this. I'll give you the actual recipe so you can make a note of it and write it down. But you can see it's quite sticky. It looks like a oats porridge. Okay, we mix the yeast, the water, the honey and the salt. And you said, Rory, Alec, what is the olive oil for? Well, olive oil basically just gives it a 2 tablespoons of olive oil. I put a little bit more in because I like olive oil. Also assists the bread to hold together, keep the moisture. And what's happening is, while it looks very runny right now, and I still need to add some more flour, is that iron corn takes a while to soak up all the moisture into the fiber of the wheat berry, of the flour. So it will get drier as we go along. Now I'll put a little bit more of this here. Simple, as I say, it's just a 5-minute process of mixing your flour together with your water. And it's just, that's all it is. There's no kneading involved. Wow, it smells wonderful. And we're getting a better consistency now. Put that stickiness to it. As I say, there are many ways you can make this bread. I'm just showing you today the very simple way that I like. Oil my pan. I'm going to place my dough straight in there and I'm going to leave it to rise for the next hour. Just a little bit on there. Not the sides. I don't do the sides because I want the bread to climb. And if the sides are too oily, it doesn't climb up my pan as nicely as I would like it to. And this prevents the bread from sticking to the pan when I want to take it out. No doubt there are many bread experts who are watching me going, oh my God, Rory, what are you doing? But I'm just sharing with you guys how I like to do it. Any ideas you have, feel free to put them in the comment section below, and I'll be very happy to take a look at that. Always learning, that's one thing. Please don't talk about me when I'm gone. Oh honey, though our friendship ceases from now on. Is off. Don't put the oven on with the dishcloth in. Now I let it rest for a while. I will just leave it in there for an hour. So what it does is it takes me 5 minutes to mix. I put it in the oven and it basically takes an hour or so to rise, get ready, and then I just simply switch the oven on. Okay, it's time to check the bread. The bread has been in the oven for about an hour and should be okay. The oven's off. Let's have a look. Take this off. Oh yeah, look at that. That's fantastic. Now finally I'm going to put the oven on. I put it on around 170. I put the bread back in without the dishcloth. And we're going to let that guy cook. And it'll cook for 45 minutes and we'll have some lovely hot bread. Okay, that smells good. There it is. Please don't talk about me when I'm gone. Oh honey, though our friendship ceases from. Well, I've pretty much run out of time on this vlog. Lots more came out of it than I thought it would, so I hope you've enjoyed it. Please do comment any ideas you might have. Do share this with somebody else. Don't forget to give it the old thumbs up, like up. Until next vlog, next week, same time. Ciao for now.